The Middleweight World Championship Series was a tournament staged back in 2001, with the goal of the series was to produce the first undisputed middleweight king since Marvelous Marvin Hagler, who'd last held that distinction in 1979 until 1987. The aim of the tournament was the victor would take home the WBC, WBA, IBF and Ring Magazine £160 titles, and also the Sugar Ray Robinson Trophy. The fighters in the tournament were the WBA champion Joppy, WBC champion Keith Holmes, the IBF champion Bernard Hopkins, and the WBA and IBF junior middleweight world champion Felix Trinidad, who was fresh from his all-out war against Fernando Vargas, which pitted them as the #1 seed in the tournament. The semi-finals pitted Felix Trinidad against Joppy for the WBA middleweight world title and Bernard Hopkins against Keith Holmes for the IBF and WBC middleweight world titles. On the 14th of April 2001 in Madison Square Garden in New York, the first semi-final kick off the tournament as Bernard Hopkins faced off against Keith Holmes for the unified middleweight title. The bout was largely controlled by Hopkins throughout, as he won a unanimous decision over Keith Holmes to unify the WBC and IBF titles. The judges' scorecards read 118 to 109, 117 to 110 and 119 to 108, all in the favour of Hopkins, so that meant he would advance on to the final.
Punches below the belt and on the legs that he's received. Can't work on that.
Gaps per round coming in. Rear body shot by Hopkins.
The old trigger.
Too many borderline punches by Hopkins.
Probably what he needs in his life. Get out there and go for a knockout. Make guys respect you.
Now Holmes begins to wake up and fire. That was the right hand loop, and there's a straight right hand that hurt Keith Holmes up the middle, and another straight right hand hurts him again. Hopkins free rein, pot shot him inside and out, and there's a solid left hook that wobbles Holmes. And let's see if the another left hook lands flush.
The way he's going about whipping his back. He's done a good job.
Hopkins would love to finish this up by knocking Holmes out.
The executioner, Hopkins.
In the tournament's second semi-final staged arguably the sport's #1 pound-for-pound fighter in Felix Trinidad, making his middleweight debut against the current WBA middleweight world champion Joppy. In the first round of the fight, Joppy would come out on the front foot, but late on in the round Trinidad scored a knockdown with a combination of punches that would send Joppy down to the canvas. Trinidad subsequently would score another knockdown in the fourth round, with Trinidad closing out the show in the fifth round when he would send Joppy to the canvas, forcing the referee to stop the contest.
They're controlling the first part of the round. Joppy walks into the Trinidad.
Joppy's got to keep his hands up. What you got to do, keep moving.
Our right hand by Trinidad. Trinidad doesn't seem to be concerned with Joppy's punching power at all. This has never been used before, and it's a very slow, spongy ring. Trinidad with two hard right hands now, stopping Joppy in his tracks. Big left hook. Second knockdown of the fight. Joppy tremendously hurt by this fight. 6, 7, 8. Trinidad he's more than a one-handed puncher. He can hurt you with both hands, as he did there, and that led to the left hand.
Joppy went down to the body.
2, 3, 4. That'll do it. I don't think for Camp he's going to let Joppy continue. Felix Trinidad with a sensational knockout. Sensational performance by the greatest finisher in the sport. Here's a look at the knockout, and it came on right-hand punches this time. Trinidad may be the deadliest puncher. Ladies Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time of 2 minutes 25 seconds in round number 5. Our referee in charge, Arthur Mercanti, stops the contest. The winner by way of technical knockout, and he is the new WBA middleweight champion of the world, el gran campeón puertorriqueño, Felix Trinidad.
The final pit of Bernard Hopkins vs Felix Trinidad for the undisputed middleweight world title. For the first time in many years, Bernard Hopkins was the betting underdog going into the fight, as following Trinidad's destructive display against Joppy, which led many to believe that Trinidad would unify titles in his third weight class. During the promotion for the bout, Hopkins would cause huge controversy by throwing the flag of Puerto Rico to the floor in 2 press conferences in both New York and Puerto Rico. His actions in the latter press conference caused a riot to unfold. During the fight, Hopkins was on his way to a lopsided decision victory when in the 12th and final round he would floor Trinidad. Referee Steve Smoker called a halt to the action after Trinidad's father would enter the ring to stop the fight. It would be the first loss in the illustrious career of Felix Trinidad. Bernard Hopkins would go on to fulfill his destiny by becoming the undisputed middleweight world champion with a 12th round TKO.
On that front foot, he's on the mark. Hopkins' job is to keep him off the mark. Yes, how to get close. Now he's got it. He's got to keep it just like that. That's the fight he won.
Holding with the left hand upstairs as he hit with the right hand downstairs. Hopkins beginning to unveil his jab.
That's the fight.
Body here in round 3.
But Bernard Hopkins isn't fading.
No, and the bet looks pretty good, at least for the moment, as he gives Trinidad a spirited fight. Trinidad opens up, lands 2 power shots. Hopkins tries to fire back immediately. Trinidad misses with the right. Hopkins lands his own. Joppy and Vargas made of standing in front of Trinidad. He hasn't done much of that. Lands the right, Trinidad lands the left. Felix is a marathon runner who builds the tempo from round to round, and he's trying to build it with the left hook right here. 4 straight left hands by Trinidad. Tito gets him against the ropes.
I'd like to see what happened in the 10, 11, and 12 try. That's where he can bring home if he can just get him in. Puts his weight on your left hand and throws his overhand right. Beat him to the punch, though.
You know, George, Trinidad has landed some big shots. Moves of the crowd on its feet as they watch the 2 fighters train through the round and beyond. This is another huge round for Hopkins. Oh, huge right hand. Huge right hand by Hopkins. Down goes Trinidad. I'm not sure Tito can get up. He's got the desire. He's never been knocked out. This fight is over. Steve Smoker stops it. No.
Bernard
Tito Trinidad comes in.
has done it.
He knocked out Trinidad. Some people thought, oh no, he'll be too weak. He wasn't too weak. He was too strong for
Tricked
Trinidad.
us all. He tricked us.
A thoroughly dominant performance from start to finish. Hopkins by CompuBox numbers.
The winner by way of technical knockout, tonight earning his place in boxing history as he is now the undisputed middleweight champion of the world, Bernard, the executioner Hopkins.
Following the conclusion of the tournament, Hopkins would go on to pick up the WBO middleweight world title from Oscar De La Hoya following their blockbuster clash, where he would go on to reign supreme over the 160-pound division, making a record 20 title defences of the middleweight world title.